Welcome, welcome, welcome to our first episode of Transmissions of the Heart. I am your host, Divinely Sah'RAH. I am so honored to be here today. As you guys know, everything is uncut, so you are going to get the raw, real deal. But before we get started, we are going to start off with prayer. I'm so honored to have our guest, Mama G, Graciela the Sage, here with us today. So let's get started. We're just going to start off with a deep breath. We would like to give honors to all 7 directions, north, east, south, west, above, below, and within. Thank you. We give honor to our uplifted ancestors, our guides, our fierce protectors and skilled healers. Please stand with us, be with us at all times, and guide us along this journey with a level head and open heart. We are root of your root. We are soil of your soil. We are bone of your bone, and we are flesh of your flesh. Not deaf to our sincere cries, not blind to our honest plea. We thank you for being the whisper in our ears that protects us and guides us along this divine journey called life. Ashe, Aho, Ashe,
Ashe,
and Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Welcome, 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 Mama G. How are you?
I am well, and that was beautiful. If I was nervous before, I feel fortified, and I'm ready for you.
Excellent, because we both nervous.
I know, huh?
we are, you guys. So to get started, I just want to explain a little bit about why Mama G is our first guest and how I know her. Mama G is Mama G. Like, that is like my second mother. She is my mentor. She is my elder. She is a Ladies of the Light practitioner. She is everything. So Mama G is here because she holds a certain energy, a very beautiful healing energy. And so what better way to start off this whole channel is with Mama G. Mama G has been there for all the Ladies of the Light. She holds us in a special, beautiful, loving container as she helps to guide us. And so I wanted her to be able to tell her story of how she reached this pinnacle in her life where she's so loving and she's so honest and she's just a beautiful spirit to be around. But no one knows Mama G better than she knows herself. So can you please tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
Okay, but first let me say I'm humbled by the introduction. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
My Ladies of the Light, they are truly a huge part of who I am and how the lessons that I learned with them, as well as the ones that I've brought just simply for longevity. Who am I? Well, that's a story in itself. But I am Graciela Teofield. I am a certified Ladies of the Light practitioner. I am a vibrational sound therapist. I am a Reiki master and teacher. I am a breath work facilitator and practitioner. There's a lot of things in that bucket. And there's history there that has a lot of things in that bucket. And all of them have been training tools where I've learned about life, learned about people, and learned to love unconditionally. And it has been quite the journey. But I honestly have to say, I was born a little bit different. And our family line, we trace our family through the women. So through my mother and through my grandmother and through her grandmother and so on and so on, we have been a little bit different. And as a small child, I didn't realize that everybody didn't see or know or hear the things that I was knowing and seeing and hearing. I'm thinking, well, you already knew that, right? And they're like, what are you talking about? But that's kind of how I found out that everybody didn't quite function the way things were coming to me, information was coming to me, things that I could see or be aware of that someone didn't walk up to me and either tell me or teach me.
Yes.
And it goes through the women line, but it shows up with our men too, but mostly through the women. This awareness or this gift or this calling is through our women. And the calling can be answered. You pick up the mantle, you put it on, you start training. And whether you like it or not, the lessons will come and they will be of benefit to you and to the people that you are loving on and the city you're in, your community, your family, your friends. It shows up as a benefit if you will allow it.
Yes. That's beautiful. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. Sometimes we do think things that come easy to us that, oh, everybody sees this or everyone can do this. But when it's your gift, it is your gift. And everyone has a gift and it's beautiful. So now that we've spoken a little bit about how you were aware of your gift, tell us a little bit about your journey of awareness and the spark that put you on your path of transformation.
Okay. Ooh. Like I said, there are a lot of things that I grew up knowing and experiencing and kind of keeping on the down low because it really did make you stand out a little weird. We're talking 50s, 60s, back in the 50s and the 60s and coming forward. In 1997, I got sick. And I was diagnosed with an incurable condition. Things got really challenging. I was starting a new path of being single after having been married for 25 years. And I had come to a place where I was very sick, didn't know what to do, didn't know where I was going to go or how it was going to go. And I was just a little bit pissed. And I decided I'm going to take a personal retreat. I don't know where I'm going. I'm going to turn this car down, head south on I-5, and we'll see where we end up. So I just got in the car, packed up the car, just me, sick as I could possibly be, and just headed south, driving. And I had heard about this place called Brighton Bush. It's a sacred land in the forest in Oregon with sacred water. It's indigenous land, but people have bought it and encroached upon it, created this retreat center. So I'm like, well, this is good a place as any. Let's stop here. So I was there, and I was there for at least a week. I was going to think, well, maybe a month retreat. And there I was. It was lunchtime. I was having my lunch on a picnic table outside of the lodge. And there were these unusual looking people that were gathered there for an annual event that they met there every year. So I was told. And I'm just being curious. I'm being nosy. I'm like, why do they look like that? And what are they doing in there? I want to know. So I'm sitting out there eating my lunch, and it's break time for lunch. So they start piling out. And there's about, I'm going to say 45 to 50 of them. And they come out, they're looking real earthy, but they have this kind of glow about them and this level of confidence about them. I'm like, wow, wonder what's going on in there. So one of the ladies comes by and I'm like, excuse me. Hey, how you doing? And I said, so who are you guys? She says, oh, we're Reiki masters and we're just here for our annual gathering. I said, so Reiki. I said, what is that? She says, you don't know what Reiki is? I'm like, no, I don't know what Reiki is. I was being real smart because, I got a bad attitude right now. I'm being real smart with her. She says, well, would you like me to show you? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Please do. she's so much compassion. She says, okay. So she starts getting ready and she's doing all of this. And I'm thinking, okay, when you're getting ready, I'm going to get ready too. And I'm, just being smarty pants, right? So I sit there and she says, okay, I have permission to touch you, yes? I'm like, oh, okay. She puts one hand on my abdomen. She reaches around and puts one hand on my back. And instantaneously, I am gone. I am in the presence of my most excellent self and the divine. And this conversation begins. And I'm thinking, nothing. I'm starting to talk like, what? And the voice said to me, be quiet. I need to tell you things. And it starts revealing who I am, revealing who is speaking to me, revealing that I am never alone, that there's a horde of people around me that are known as ancestors. And everyone is here to support me. It may not feel like it, but I am never alone. And this is not unto death. The condition that I have is not unto death. And I'm just gone. And the love is so profound. It's so tactile. I feel nothing but an unexpressed level of love that I had never been able to. I had no idea that it existed. When she removed her hands, I was back sitting at the picnic table with my lunch in front of me. And I looked at her and just started crying. I'm like, what just happened? And she says, well, I can honestly say, I've never had that response before. So I'm like, I couldn't finish eating. I couldn't talk to anybody. I'm thinking, I got to go to my cabin. I got to sit with this for a minute. And I sat with it and I sat with it. And the love just never went away. The knowledge that I'm never alone never went away. The confidence as to the path that I'm on never left me. The mantle that I had a choice to pick up, I did pick it up and I put it on. And knowledge, wisdom, and understanding began to proceed. And that was 1999. And here I am. Shortly after that, I contacted the Reiki master who was in charge of the retreat. He lived in Corbett, Oregon. And he did my level 1 and my level 2 and mentored me until it was time for me to step out. And it's been amazing ever since. And that's how I got started with Reiki and all the energy work, because everything's energy. And the more you understand, the more you realize that everything is energy. Things that are solid are energy. Sound is energy. We can channel energy, all of it. And it's all for our benefit. If you got that positive energy or you have access to positive energy, it can raise you out of the negative energy, low vibrational stuff, which causes dis-ease, confusion, hurt, harm. You can't get out of it. Depression, anxiety, that's just low vibrational. But if you find the tool to help you get into a higher vibration, you can come up out of that bit by bit. Some people it's bit by bit. Some people it's a suddenly. We're all different. Nobody's the same. And that's how this whole thing got started. It was like, yes, I was ready. And it was my injury or the illness that sent me on the road. Nothing is by accident. There are no coinkydinks. That's not a coincidence. Follow the flow. Get in the flow. Find your way. It's there.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Could you tell us a little bit about before the journey, right? Before you got in the car, before were on the road and met these amazing people who started you on your journey. Um, you said that there was an illness that had prompted you along this journey. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I can. First of all, I don't claim it. I live with it.
Yes.
It has been a diagnosis. But I don't claim it. I don't embrace it. I deal with it.
Yes.
It's a mindset. It's simply a mindset. 1997, I was diagnosed. They said my body was functioning with multiple sclerosis. And multiple sclerosis attacks the nerves through the myelin sheath that covers the spinal nerves in the spine. There gets to be a damage in there, and then there's interruptions in how the nerves tell the body what to do.
Yes.
And so it showed up one day. I was in graduate school, and I was pushing the envelope, burning the candle on both ends. I was in a difficult relationship, so there was a lot of stress involved in every aspect of who I was. And I thought I could manage it. And I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. For years, I did that. Until one morning, I woke up and my whole right side had gone to sleep. Perfectly down the center of my face, down the center of my body. It's like, this was me and this was, what happened? It's like, I remember that morning, I had to get to work. Then I had to go to school. Then I had to get back to work because I was working full-time and going to school full-time in graduate school and teaching. I remember trying to get out the bed and couldn't. I'm like, my body, I'm like, what did it go to sleep? You know how your foot goes to sleep? It gets all tingly and whatnot. Well, my whole right side was that way. I'm like, I don't have time for this. Still arrogant,
Yes.
I can do this. I. And it turned out it wasn't about I. It was about divinity.
Yes.
We're going to use this. This is going to be used. And go.
Yes.
So I ended up literally throwing myself out of the bed, fell on the floor, got on hands and knees, crawled to the bathroom, pulled up, and I'm like, okay, well, don't know what's going on, but I don't have time for this.
Yes.
Got in the shower, took my shower, got my clothes on, was able to somehow make it work. And it kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse until that was like a Friday. By Sunday, I was in the ER and they were saying, there is something wrong. We're going to need to get you going with a neurologist and whatnot. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. Yes, ma'am, you do. Yes, ma'am. So it really did begin to cripple me. It affected every aspect, my cognitive processing, the way I thought, especially my language area, because I was trilingual. And then it got to a point where I couldn't understand the difference between English and Spanish. Like I turned into true Spanglish. It's like, what? Say it again. I couldn't watch TV because I couldn't understand it. It would just cause confusion. I couldn't listen to music with words because I couldn't figure out what was being said. I couldn't read. I couldn't read anymore because I was reading the same line over and over and it didn't make sense. And I'm like, it's very frustrating. My right side, as I said, was numb. And when I would walk, it would just cooperate with the lead of the left side. And if I was walking, I was listing this way or I was listing that way, or I would fall. It was not a cute look. It was not cute. It was a devastating time. And I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't sure where this was going to go. And the more I tried to do it in a medical way, the worse it got.
Yes.
To the point where the physicians were telling me, sweetie, you need to get your paperwork in order. We're sorry to tell you that you probably won't see 2005. Let your family know what you want done, and you're going down fast. I'm like, oh, I let them say what they had to say. I went to my car. I'm like, oh, hell no.
Mm-mm.
You don't know me, and you don't know my creator. Even that I
Yes.
knew. Even at that point, you didn't make me, and you're not in charge. My creator made me, and my
Yes.
creator's in charge. And I'm not out of here till my creator says, come home. So
Ashe.
I did not embrace that part of the equation. And I started making substantial changes in everything. I changed my environment. I changed what I ate. I changed how I thought. I started centering more and getting more truly in line so I could hear from my creator. What is this? What are we doing? What are we doing? And even before I knew that my ancestors were with me, they started putting me in the flow. And different ones were showing up and giving me an encouraging word. And I would be guided this way, and something positive would happen that way. And I'd get guided this way. I was being protected in so many ways. Even before I knew, I knew in my intellect, but I didn't know in my heart knowledge that I was covered. And yeah, that thing called multiple sclerosis, that's a bad boy. That's a bad girl. But who are you? Who created
Yes.
you? And what are you going to do about it? And this is what I do about it. I meet every day with a thank you and gratitude. Every morning before I get out of the bed, oh, thank you. I got another one. Thank you so much. And especially in this pandemic, my eyes open or I become aware, my first thing out of me is, I'm grateful. Thank you so much. There are different ways to center or start your day. I start mine with centering and meditation and coffee with God. And let's have this cup of coffee and let me be quiet. And I had a bad habit of talking too much in my centering and my meditation. I'd be asking questions and chatting it up and give me guidance and da. And what about this? And what are we going to do about this? And then finally down the road, something in my centering and my quiet time said, would you please be quiet? We have so much to share with you. There is so much to tell you, but it's difficult with you talking. You can't hear when you're talking. Be quiet. Now that was a real challenge, but it works for me. How it works for others, I'm not sure, but for me, I need to be quiet so I can hear. And that's kind of where I am still.
That's beautiful. Just like you mentioned, when the doctors diagnose you, it's an agreement. So either you're going to sign the dotted line or you're going to say, oh, that's not for me. And I love the way that you explain that. Like, I did not accept that agreement. That was not for me. You knew that wasn't the end for you.
That
right.
wasn't.
And so just for, other people who may be listening that, even when you do get a diagnosis from the doctor, it doesn't make it final, right? Because that's not your creator. And so
That's right.
thank you for sharing that message, Mama G. How do you believe that this message from the doctor led you to be of greater service to the whole of like humanity?
So many times the healers or people in position to create healing environments or bring a level of energy of love or whatever for other environments for love and healing, they often have already gone through some mess.
Yes.
Okay. They've already gone through either an illness or health challenges or relational challenges, and they become the ones who know how this thing goes.
Yes.
Okay. So for me, it was both a health challenge and a brokenness in relationship that
Mm.
kind of got me. And knowing what is my challenge versus what someone else's challenge is that they want to put on me.
Mm.
It was a real didactic type of, is this yours or is this theirs? And they're trying to get you to wear it.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't wear it well because it's not yours. So with those type of lessons, those are usually the type of people that show up to you because you've been trained in the fire, and now
Yes.
they're showing up with the same type of injuries or the same type of challenges or something similar to what you've already gone to. Those are the people that usually show up. And when they show up, you can share what you've been through and the knowledge that you've gained. As I say, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. There's a difference between an intellect that you have here. And this is very important to have intellect, to know how things function. But we are now moved into an era or a dimension where the heart has to lead. The heart has to lead. It has the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding because it has dropped down here. Now it's all about the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Let me help you feel your way out of this madness. Let me help you feel your way onto your own path and onto your own healing, onto your own road, so that you can hear your own ancestors, your own guides. You can sit and feel your true, authentic self in divine alignment with the one that created you.
Yes.
So, having come through that, knowing how I set up the environment for healing and well-being, it's not the same for all of us. Thank goodness we're not all cookie cutters of one another. So you get these healers. Anytime you see someone that's a healer and they work from the heart, they've been through something.
Mm.
And the
Yes.
people that are around them are coming for their understanding on how to get out of that, how to heal and have higher vibrations so they can come up. Lo and behold, as soon as they come up and understand that what's theirs and what's not theirs, then there's somebody waiting for them. It's a trickle effect. And that's what's happening in this dimension that we're in, this humanity uprising and global pandemic. We're realizing we're all in this together. We're one.
Yes.
So we are the oneness people. And some of us aren't ready to be one because we haven't been recognized for who we are individually yet. So we're still working on that. Don't mess my stuff up because this is who I am. Okay, very good. And we need that individual and that power of that individual knowledge to come into the oneness. So collectively we can be solid. And that's going to have to come from the heart. Not just the intellect or book knowledge. Book knowledge is not going to work anymore.
I love that. That is Mama G's medicine to the whole. I love that. One thing I believe that most of us do not think about is the fact that we will all be an ancestor one day, right? So we're all ancestors in training.
Yes.
So knowing that one day we will all be an ancestor, what would you like your legacy to be? What would you like people to remember you for?
Oh, gosh. I love this question, Sah'RAH. I absolutely love this question. There's so many things. I want them to know that I stood on a foundation that was love and do no harm.
Yes.
I stood on that and I did my best to align to my creator. But I also want them to know that I was artistic. I loved um, our our music. My mom's from Nicaragua, my father's from the States, and we had all manner of music. We have maple music, which is the name of the stuff, the music that we use. We're out there doing our thing. Bluefields people, love to you all. My daddy playing his blues, his Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, Louis Armstrong, and then bringing it on forward to some soul music up in the house. So you never knew what you were going to get in my house. That runs through me. It's not just the healer, it's the whole me. I love to dance. I started dancing in my mother's womb. They put my feet on the ground. I just continued. It was, hey, here we go. I want them to remember that. I also want them to remember that being who they are is important, not to cover it up.
Yes.
If you're a little weird, just go with it. Okay. Open yourself, open your heart. I want them to know that I love them so powerfully, and that with all the power that I am permitted to have, I too will be there for them and covering them and whispering in their ear, don't, not that way, go this way. Oh, yes, this way. Are you listening? Come over here. I'll be that ancestor, should I be allowed. And that they have power. I want them to know that I had power and that I learned to use it bit by bit. Mine did not come suddenly. Mine came bit by bit. And I said yes and started with it.
Yes.
I think that would do it.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Mama G. I think that's really important for all of us to think about and ponder upon. And thinking about pondering with everything that we've spoken about today as we wind down this conversation, what would you like our viewers to, I'm looking down at my notes, what would you like the listeners to ponder upon? Like, what would be a point of contemplation that you would leave for all of us? Like, what should we be thinking about?
Oh, Sah'RAH, I wish I had some notes right now. But I would say, know thyself.
Yes.
Sit with yourself to know yourself.
Yes.
And then ask yourself, who am I? And what do I want? Those are questions that you can pose to yourself and really figure it out, because as you know, we're not our bodies.
Yes.
We're not any of this that we see. We live within the body. The body is our temple where we reside here on this dimension. But who are you?
Yes.
And once you realize who you are, now what are you going to do with that? What do you want? But that takes, for some of us, that takes time to sit quietly and listen, not chat it up. Listen. What do you hear? What do you feel? How is this guiding you? Is it a total 180 from where you're going and have been going? And now all of a sudden you realize, I feel more inclined to go this way. And there are no mistakes and there are no wrong answers. There is simply experiences and lessons. Some of them are more enjoyable than others, but it's all for our personal growth and experience, reflecting out to our global community. Who are you? Who are you going to be? What do you stand for? Those are personal questions. No one can tell you who you are. No one can name you. And this is as far as you can go. There's no glass ceiling. There's none. What do you want? Who are you? And what do you want? I think a level of contemplation, I would encourage everyone to have a practice of self-contemplation, just to become extremely familiar with who you are and what you want.
Yes. Yes. I love how you said that no one can name you, because even our ancestors at the time of birth, when the baby would come through, they wouldn't name the baby. They would give the baby a chance to name themselves. It's not like they had a name on hand, like, oh, I'm gonna name this baby Bob, or I'm gonna name her Sue. They would wait for the baby to show them who they are. And then that's when the baby would be named. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
So now that we've heard this beautiful story, and everyone has been able to experience your amazing energy, if someone wanted to work with you one-on-one, or just reach you, or follow you, how would they reach you on social media? And please give out your website.
All right, let's start with the website. I am of the crone years, so technology is not my strong suit. But here it is, myname.com. GracielaTeofield.com is my website. I had to keep it really simple. I can be found on Facebook as well. My name, Graciela Teofield. On Instagram, we got a little creative, Graciela the Sage.
Yes.
And those are the ways you can reach me. On the website, our phone numbers, you can reach me that way too. If I don't answer, please leave a message. If you send an email, I will respond.
Yes. For those who may be listening, how do you spell can you please spell your name out? Graciela
Yes.
Teofield. Yes.
So first name, Graciela. Last name, T as in Tom, EO, F like Frank, IELD as in David. And I don't feel bad spelling that for you, because my entire life has been, what's that again? What?
Yes.
I've heard every version of my name. So yes.
Thank you.
So myname.com is my website, and you're welcome to take a look at that.
All right. Thank you so much, Mama G. It's been a pleasure having you today as our first guest. I'm just so excited. Thank you so much. And thank you all for listening. And we would like at this time to kind of close out and just thank all the ancestors and our guides for being with us here today, all 7 directions, north, east, south, west, above and below and within. We thank you. We honor you. Like Mama G said, stay true to yourself. Stay authentic. Ashe.
Ashe.